Southwest elects a new city councillor.
The data is clear. Scarborough is underserved in so many different capacities.
The votes have been cast in the Scarborough Southwest by-election, and Ward 20 has spoken. Parthy Candevel will be the newest councillor to join City Hall. We will take you live to his election headquarters.
We will announce an opening date for Eglinton Crosstown 3 months before opening day. We are not there yet.
Plus, with no end in sight for the Eglinton Crosstown LRT, commuters are fed up with all the construction and still nothing to show for it. What does Metrolinx have to say for the ongoing delays?
I'll just pay everything in cash at the end. Is that okay?
And we'll have the latest in the ongoing saga of the Crypto King. After allegedly bilking investors out of millions, Aidan Platursky says he's out of money and can't pay them back. But his lavish Instagram stories suggest otherwise. Good evening, I'm Ali Chiasson. Scarborough Southwest has spoken. The votes have been counted and Ward 20 has a new city councillor. It was neck and neck after the polls closed at 8 o'clock, but in the end, Parthy Candevel won the vote. Candevel was the runner-up in the last time that he ran against Gary Crawford, who left his council seat to run for the provincial Conservatives. But tonight is Parthy Candevel's night. So let's go live to his campaign headquarters to our Olivia Bowden. Olivia, what's the mood like there?
So, Ali, it was looking like a tight race here tonight in Scarborough Southwest, but in the end, Parthy Candevel came out on top. I am here with the man himself at his campaign office. How does it feel to win?
I feel very grateful to my family for putting up with a tough journey. It was, a second time in 2 years, and I feel eternally grateful for people of Scarborough Southwest. I grew up here since I was a kid, got my first shot at teaching here, and to serve on the school board for 8 years and now be sent to City Hall comes with great meaning and purpose, and I hope to live up to the expectations.
And now, what is first on your agenda when you get to City Hall?
It's to look at the budget. I think we saw a historic deal with Premier Ford and Mayor Chow, and it's giving us a lot of important fiscal room to create the investments to have an affordable and caring city. In Scarborough, we see the disparity, the lack of city-run daycare sites is a priority for so many young families, investments in transit. The red bus lanes on Kennedy and Midland are a temporary fix. We need to resurface the old Scarborough RT to have that express busway. It's better for TDC riders, and it's good for drivers as well.
For sure, and those are many things that we heard from voters after speaking to them this evening. Here's what they told us that they want.
They represent our voice at City Council. Sometimes we don't always feel like we're heard.
We do feel left out, and we do feel abandoned. The roads, everything, traffic. You know, people getting hit by cars along here every day.
I feel like I'm looking for someone who's really aware of the advantages and disadvantages that people face.
So, Olivia, it sounds like people aren't feeling very heard at City Hall. You spoke with a community group who thinks that Parthy Candevel will change that.
Yes, well, Ali, it was a reoccurring theme we heard many times tonight that people in this riding feel neglected at City Hall. We spoke to Ron Parkinson. He's part of a neighborhood group here that organized many campaigns around the candidates, and he said that Parthy will have his work cut out for him. Here's what he had to say.
He's a very passionate person, like a lot of the candidates were. He wants to represent all of us in the Ward 20, even those who didn't vote for him. That's the message is there. Is we're a very diverse community and lots of issues. So the bar is raised, and he's got a lot of work ahead of him to do and represent Scarborough Southwest.
And the votes will be officially certified next week. Back to you, Ali.
Thank you so much, Olivia. That is the CBC's Olivia Bowden reporting live in Scarborough Southwest. Thank you very much. Now, the future of the Eglinton Crosstown LRT remains up in the air. The CEO of Metrolinx commented today, but there's still no opening date in sight. As Dale Manukduk reports, commuters want answers.
Metrolink still doesn't know or won't say when the Eglinton Crosstown LRT will open, leading to strong reactions from people most affected by its continued delay.
I think it's absurd. We need to have some date, right? I mean, look at the traffic here.
I think it's simply terrible, disgraceful.
It's bull.
At a Board of Directors public session today, CEO Phil Verster says the contractor is still finding problems.
We will announce an opening date for Eglinton Crosstown 3 months before opening day. We are not there yet. We are making sure everything was built right and operates correctly and safely.
And that's just deeply unacceptable to all of the people who are going to be relying on and have been waiting for years now for this to open. I think it's disrespectful to the people of Ontario who are paying his $1 million salary.
Work began on the Crosstown in 2011. Metrolink's previously announced completion dates of 2020 and 2021. The over-budget project has been delayed by hundreds of quality control issues.
I work construction. It's really hard to meet deadlines.
It's definitely been a long time that we've been seeing a lot of this construction, and I'm just hoping that they would have some type of timeline to have it completed. It's been an inconvenience for a lot of us.
Here's something we know. Metrolink says they're going to host the media sometime early December here at Yonge and Eglinton, where the most complicated station is along the Crosstown LRT. We're going to have a walkthrough. They're going to show us some of the complexities that they're working on that will eventually lead to an opening date. I would invite you to come watch, but we don't know when that date is either. Dale Manukduk, CBC News, Toronto.
Now, after almost 30 years, the Taste of the Danforth is at risk of being canceled. Business owners in the area voted against a levy increase this week that would have helped keep it going. But there is still some hope for the event's return. CBC's Tyler Cheese has that story.
In peak years, Taste of the Danforth has drawn in more than 1 million people to Toronto's Greektown neighborhood. But even still, some local residents say the festival has run its course.
I won't really miss it. I miss the people and the fun, but I don't go out and participate a lot.
A sort of a victim of its own success. Like a number of these street festivals, it became less about the area and it was just sort of generic food.
The future of the festival is now in question following a vote by members of the Greektown on the Danforth BIA. According to the BIA, the 3-day event lost more than $250,000 this year. That's prompted businesses in the area to vote against a 19% levy that would ensure the festival's return in 2024. But other Danforth business owners are disappointed by the news.
It's going to have a huge impact.
Chris Christodoulou owns Soulas Modern Greek Cuisine near Danforth and Logan.
Not only just a financial impact, but all that awareness of the Torontonians that the Greektown is here. It's a reminder for everybody to come and visit the Danforth, the Greektown. Yeah, it's a very unfortunate situation we're in right now.
Sugarcane at Danforth and Pape opened in 2019, but has only been able to participate in the festival once due to pandemic cancellations.
It's going to be very, very disappointing to not see it next year if it really happens.
She says her business was already making plans for next year's festival.
I'm hoping that somehow, some way, their decision is changed and something can happen that we can have the festival coming up. I mean, I don't know how. We have to get the money from somewhere.
The BIA says Taste of the Danforth can continue, but it will need to fundraise and secure new title sponsorship to make that happen. In a statement provided to CBC, the city says it will continue to support the festival if the BIA is able to secure that outside funding. Tyler Cheese, CBC News, Toronto.
It is 10 degrees in Toronto right now. And you know, for November 30th, 10 degrees feels balmy, doesn't it, Colette?
Yeah, that's right, Allie. Quite a treat for the last day of November, especially when you consider tomorrow is the first day of meteorological winter. Not feeling anything like winter. And even if we had to round up in a few cases, we got some double digits on the board for our daytime highs. 10 for Windsor, Toronto, and St. Catharines at 11 degrees. And the thing is about the mild temperatures, even as we're approaching midnight, really holding on to some of that warmth. We won't really see those temperatures falling much until we get through the overnight, and even tomorrow morning's relatively mild. But we also to contend with some moisture moving in. So a few isolated showers certainly possible overnight into the GTA, but I wouldn't expect much. However, we will see towards the morning hours some of that rain moving into southwestern Ontario, and it will spread. So towards the latter part of the morning commute and then into the afternoon, it gets heavier. But because of temperatures, it is a rain event until you get further north of the 407, and there we're looking at some light wet snow. I'll get into all the accumulations when I come back. The high for tomorrow, Allie, 4 degrees.
Thank you, Colette. Now, Pearson Airport is promising passengers a smooth holiday travel season. The airport outlined its winter preparedness plan today.
Our equipment has been very tuned up. We've met our performance targets, including in our baggage systems. And today, we are ranked second in North America for large hub airports customer service.
The plan includes increased staffing and de-icing, new snowplows, and new technology to forecast weather and delays. The airport expects passenger travel to increase 10% this winter over last year. The provincial government is investing nearly $68 million to boost pediatric health care across the GTA.
Our investment provides consistent and stable annual funding to support programs and services at the Hospital for Sick Kids, Holland Bloorview Children's Rehab's Hospital, the Centre for Addictions and Mental Health, Toronto East Health Network, Unity Health, Surrey Place, Grandview Kids, and the Children's Treatment Network of Simcoe York.
The funding will improve services and reduce wait times for children in need of pediatric care. That includes hiring more surgical staff, also nurses, and adding more rehabilitation beds. Now, when a worker dies on a construction site in Ontario, a coroner's inquest is automatically ordered. Now, the province is looking to scrap that mandatory review. It's one of several proposed changes in a bill introduced at Queen's Park this afternoon. Lorenda Redekop has more.
Deaths at construction sites are unfortunately too common. So far this year, 11 people died in Ontario from January to the end of September. Right now, when a construction worker dies on the job, a coroner's inquest must be called to look into what happened. The government introduced legislation that would do away with that and instead require a coroner's review of all construction deaths at least once a year.
We think when we group like cases together, then there'll be lessons learned and overarching conclusions that will be found. A family still retains the right to request a mandatory inquest, but if we can speed up the process, it will absolutely help the families as well.
Right now, a coroner's inquest is going on, looking into 7 different construction deaths, people who fell from heights at different sites in 2018 and 2019. The government says a review would happen within around 18 months.
I know that in cases I'm involved with, we won't see an inquest for probably years, frankly.
This personal injury lawyer thinks this could help with the backlog.
Often you will see similar patterns with incidents and in cases when people are killed. So I think it's a good use of resources.
Also in the bill, making it easier for victims of crime to sue their offender, not having to once again prove they've suffered during the civil case.
I don't want them going back through that process to explain to a judge how they were emotionally traumatized and in the process re-traumatizing.
A recent CBC story highlighted the case of a sexual assault complainant. The case against her accused offender was thrown out for taking too long, a courtroom double booked. The NDP leader is surprised at what she doesn't see in the bill.
The number one issue, which is the case backlogs. I mean, there's nothing in there to solve that. I actually kind of can't believe the nerve of the government to introduce legislation that doesn't attempt to address that.
The Attorney General says the government has spent millions hiring more staff and building capacity to try to fix the issue. Lorenda Redekop, CBC News.
Welcome back. Demonstrators took to the street outside the Indigo bookstore at Bay and Bloor today. The store had recently been vandalized with red paint and posters claiming the chain's CEO funds genocide.
In response to the recent arrests of 11 peace activists in Toronto, Jews Say No to Genocide is here to clearly say that calling out companies that support Israeli war crimes is a legitimate form of protest. Targeting Indigo is not anti-Semitic.
The group was met by counter-protesters who say last month's vandalism was anti-Semitic. Last week, police charged 11 people with mischief in connection to the incident. This afternoon, investigators have announced additional criminal harassment charges against those same people. Now, he once claimed he couldn't even afford to take a cab to attend his bankruptcy proceedings. But CBC Toronto has learned that Aidan Platursky, the self-proclaimed crypto king, has been actually living the high life and streaming his escapades for all to see. This while angry investors try to recoup the $40 million they gave the 25-year-old to invest. Angelina King has the latest in our ongoing investigation.
The self-proclaimed crypto king Aidan Platursky traveled to LA last month, cruising in a McLaren and a Lamborghini, enjoying a meal at a steakhouse, partying for Halloween, and posting it all online. Just before that, he was in the UK, sightseeing and attending a YouTuber's boxing match. And this month, it was Miami, where Platursky live-streamed much of what he was up to, including this interaction with a waitress at a driving range.
I'll just pay everything in cash at the end. Is that okay?
Live streaming while building Lego in Miami, Platursky talks about his plans to travel to Australia this weekend.
So that's going to be a vibe.
And says this to a woman watching the stream.
Can you come to Melbourne for one night? I'll fly you out. I'll fly you out to Melbourne from Sydney for one night.
All this amid a bankruptcy proceeding that's been ongoing for more than a year now. Documents from that show people gave Platursky more than $40 million to invest in cryptocurrency and foreign exchange. The documents also say he invested less than 2% of it, while spending nearly $16 million on himself, renting private jets, leasing a mansion, and adding luxury cars to his collection. Now, his recent spending is raising questions.
He has funds that it would seem he has not reported to the trustee.
Lawyer Norman Groot is working on 2 civil cases involving people connected to Platursky and wonders why the bankruptcy trustee hasn't tried to get Platursky's passport seized.
It would seem that Mr. Platursky is not deterred by anything that has gone on litigation-wise in the bankruptcy to continue on his reckless type of spending.
The accounting firm overseeing the proceeding says there's no way for a trustee to seize a passport, but they can make recommendations to the court to do so. A different trustee who's not involved in this case told us because bankruptcy proceedings are funded by the money that's recovered, there's a consideration made when it comes to what types of actions are considered worthwhile.
Again, it's a judgment call, and that's usually made between the trustee and the creditors involved as to, how far they want us to go.
Platursky's lawyer didn't respond to questions about how Platursky is affording the recent travel and lifestyle while supposedly bankrupt. In streaming videos, he does provide some answers.
I don't travel a crazy amount. You guys think I do, but literally it's for content.
Internet money gang, internet money, unemployed with income. That's what I told the bank. Right? Because technically that's what a streamer is. A streamer is unemployed with income.
But when asked by someone on the stream how much money he has,
$1.77. AKA it's none of your business.
Angelina King, CBC News, Toronto.
Degrees and clear right now in Toronto, but that's not going to last much longer. Soon you'll not only need to layer up, but you'll need an umbrella too, right, Colette?
Yes, we're definitely starting December off with some wet conditions, and we're actually going to see a few waves with these systems moving through, lining up and coming on through the Great Lakes region. But because of the mild temperatures for southwestern Ontario, the lower Great Lakes, yes, of course, that includes the Golden Horseshoe, it's a rain event. Now, there will be at times some mixing in some of the overnight hours with these waves coming through when we get the temperature slightly cooler. But otherwise, once you go north, that's where you get into some light wet snow north of the 407 or 7, even to get into that. And we'll take a look at the accumulations here, but let's start with the timing. So early tomorrow morning, starting to press into southwestern Ontario, a little more organized, a little more intense in terms of the rainfall there. Snow to the north, and it's a pretty thin line of where we'll see that mixing. But even these areas of snow, it will be kind of a wet, light snow that we're getting. I know this model wants to put it as snow into the city, but that line is going to be a bit further north because of the temperatures. So it's mostly going to be rain, the timing, the latter part of the morning commute, and then intensifying into the afternoon for Toronto. And then we get another wave Friday night into Saturday morning. That presses through, and even Saturday afternoon, we're still holding on to quite a bit of cloud cover there. For the areas receiving the rain, the high end would be around 20 millimeters, could get close to that 15 to 20 back towards Toronto, towards Port Hope, a little less towards Kingston until we see the rest of that system move through that area. And snowfall to the north, this is really only say 5, 6, maybe 7 centimeters and in a pretty small, highly localized area. Otherwise, it's a trace or seeing a centimeter or 2. The overnight temperatures, so interesting as they hold that mild air until we get to the morning hours. You drop to freezing in Barrie, but elsewhere we're well above that number. The high 4 degrees with that rain, a bit of mixing Friday night into Saturday. Saturday afternoon, the cloud cover there, but most of the wet weather is in the morning. And then another wave Sunday into Monday, Allie, and we could have a little bit of light mixing there too.
Thanks, Colette. We'll be back after the break. Finally tonight, it's the end of Movember. Today, the Toronto Police, Toronto Fire, and paramedics all came together to say goodbye to their mustaches.
No, believe it or not, I think my wife's pretty happy about it going, and I'm okay with it going. But it's been a wonderful month, and I'm excited for it to be done.
That is an impressive handlebar mustache there. But as Movember comes to a close, out came the clippers. Over 50,000 Canadians participated in this 17th annual Movember. The goal is to raise money and awareness for men's mental health, prostate, and testicular cancer. That's our show for you tonight. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you back here tomorrow night at 11 o'clock. We will leave you with a look at Gage Park in Brampton, where holiday lights are twinkling and lighting up the sky. Have a great night.